welcome to Big Scott 35 Sunday night big game edition. Probably be talking to no one but myself. I have a funny feeling, I can't blame anybody. Hopefully, people watch this in archives, but I just want to keep my record of doing this every Sunday to Monday, and I'd rather do it Sunday. At Monday night, I work second shift, so I really don't want to do it. I really don't have a chance. So tonight is the night. Um, I have the game on while I'm doing this, so hopefully we can watch. We had a big change of possession here. I think it got ruled as an incomplete pass, so no big thing there. I'm just going to be watching a game. Before I get started, Natsman might join me. I don't know. Me and him have been texted back and forth. I think he's just going to watch the game. I'm not sure. But I would like to give a big shout out and a congratulations to friends of the channel, JD, Omar, and the bunch over at Card Hedger. They started their app this past week on, I believe, on iPhones, and I think on Android will be starting this week. Hey, thanks, Steven. A little watch party going on. So if you have that, if you looking for a good app to look up prices to keep track of your cards, it has a lot of good information, a little bit broader than just eBay comps, and just some good overall information. You know, I don't sell too much, but it's a good place for me to check out what's going on when I do buy, and also when I sell a few things here and there. I do, to collect is to sell. It just comes hand in hand, and if you want to stay what's going on in the marketplace, it's not bad to have a tool like that. And I do like that tool, and I respect where it's coming from. It's coming from a collector's point of view. I feel like where it's more giving you information more than what's the top 5 cards of the week. So again, that's Card Hedger. I will put the information. I wish I had a link to the app. I have Android. So right now in my Google Play, I can't get it. But hopefully this week I will. Again, it's Card Hedger, and my friends over there. He on Omar's channel, Retro Hoops Collectibles. They do a podcast, and it's not about that. They talk a little bit about it. They'll show things on their app that makes sense. They don't jam it into their podcast, but they have a very good podcast. They have them two do they're kind of like me and that's man. They get laid back, very, very well relaxed. They don't try to shove stuff down your throat. Sorry if my eyes go off. So I just want to congratulate them. A lot of hard work to where they're at, and it's a step to them. This is a victory step for them, but not the final step. So I respect that in a lot of ways. Let's see here. Sorry, somebody just dinged me. Natsman trying to get on. He's having some issues, but that's okay. So my next thing is, went to my LCS this week. I like to go there about once a week just to check in. I did buy a box to hold my cards, a 4-row. I did buy a box. I got them to hold 2 jumbos that I'm purchasing this week. I really don't think this day and age $159 is terrible price for a jumbo. It's not the best price. But I think we're past those days, and we need to reset our thought process on pricing. I still think Chrome is ridiculous. We did not like our top set last year, Chrome came out with ridiculous prices, left cards out, prices stayed up, and people still bought the product. Did not make sense to me. Let's be smarter in the marketplace as a group. Maybe it'll fix some of that. And I'm not saying that everything is priced correctly. I think some of the mid to higher end stuff is just way overpriced for what you get. It's just too much of hit and miss. Where it was priced at before, you were willing to take that risk. Where now you have to hit something, even as somebody as a collector, to just feel like you're getting your entertainment value out of it. Because that's where I look at it entertainment value, not what my resale value is. That's my uniqueness when I'm opening stuff. And like I said, I open up just a few packs a day anyway, just to kind of keep it where I feel like I'm opening stuff. So that way it keeps I don't want to keep buying stuff. I did get a blaster today of Artifact because I had to go shopping. What else this weekend? Really not much else. I did look in the let's see, I didn't broadcast Saturday. I had to work overtime. I worked till 11:30 on Friday night. Then I had to be at work at 6:00 Saturday morning to work my another shift. Got to make that. You got to make that extra money for shows, and I just didn't have time. And by the time I took a nap and everything, it was last night. By the time I stopped, I found a new store I got turned on to. It's a antique store that has Star Wars store inside of an antique store. So it pretty much had action figures completed. I mean, perfect packaging, uh, like this, which will come up on my Nerdy Thursday. Uh, all the way back to 19. They didn't have any 77 on card, but they had a couple of figures from back there. They were overpriced. They did have a TIE fighter, which was I'm thinking about. It just didn't have the stickers on it. If they had the stickers, and if you're familiar with the TIE fighters, the wings popped off, so you could see it explode. Uh, the wings weren't tight, and I was a little nervous about that. But anyway, enough about that. That's more my Nerdy Thursday. But that's why I wasn't on yesterday. Talk about the week that was and the week that will be. This is if you want, this is my flagship show. This is the one that I want to have on every week, come hell or hot water. If you don't see me do this show, Goddard's a beast. Not as good as Kelsey, but he's a beast. If I'm not doing this show, there's an issue. A lot of players are showing up to camp. It's even before pitchers and catchers. I think this season, after the last few seasons, right? So we had the lockout or the whatever, strike, COVID seasons. I think the players are ready to have a normal season. And then you throw in the excitement of the WBC and how great those teams are, which I'm going to talk more about probably next week. I might see if there's a guest out there that wants to talk about some international baseball. If you want to talk, let me know. Because they released the rosters this week, and I thought it was pretty Nootbaar, man. For him to play for a Japanese, if you haven't looked in on that story yet, that's a story you probably, if you're a baseball fan, that'd be a cool story. His mom is he's first generation Japanese American. His mom's 100% Japanese. And for the Japanese to have him play on their team, and it sounds like he's going to start, that's a big deal. And if you know anything about the prestige and the nationality of the Japanese players over there playing on their team. So that really, all these stories have really got me jacked up for today. You just seeing some of the powerhouse Latin American lineups and just some of the baseball internationally, awesome. Even like Italy and some of these other teams that have some players in baseball that have the nationality or play on it. So the teams are not going to be just, I've already seen the game lineup. So we'll probably go over that coming up in the next few weeks. And like I said, if you are an international fan and can help me try to get this across, it's just fun to have two people talking about it. If not, me and Natsman could do a hell of a bang up job on it. I took my thumbs down for right now because we got Natsman is for right now is back, feeling good. And I got some other things I'm trying to cook up to bring some more cancer awareness, things like that. Especially the week that they do cancer awareness in baseball. I like to try to do something on the channel for that week. Just things like that. If you have any ideas, let me know down below. Anybody out there have any hookups in any of the cancer different places where we can maybe do donations or anything? Love to do something like that with Natsman. I think that'd be a good thing for us as a community to do. Next off is it's going back to the baseball cards. So I was looking for next week when they're coming out. Like I said, one is coming out. Series 1 is Wednesday, I believe. Release date. Like I said, I got 2 jumbo boxes reserved for me picking up Wednesday morning. Excited. I think, man, you look at the rookie class for this one. Me and one of my text groups we were talking about it last week. Just a great. And then when I brought it up last week, you look at some of these inserts this year coming up. I think this product, and I looked at the autograph listing. They actually have a pretty good for having Series 1. Usually it's, a lot of pitchers and, guys you don't really know of, or, the third pitcher, fourth pitcher, or the, middle relievers. They actually have a pretty good autograph grouping coming up that I'm really excited about. And, I don't look to hit those by any means. I don't buy boxes to chase. I am not one of those guys. I buy box for entertainment value. I think the rookies, I want the base rookies, and there's enough base rookies to make it beneficial, I think, to buy a box, and I just want to buy a second box just to make sure I get enough to, quality control and hopefully get one that's centered enough to get graded for some of these. I really Gunnar and Rodriguez, which I don't think he's going to be in the first one. I think he's in the second one. I think the 2 Orioles in the first one are Ashley Rushman, which, if y'all follow my channel at all, y'all know I really like him, and Gunnar Henderson. The Orioles are my American League team. They've been my team longer than the Mets. The Mets with Gary Carter, I just fell in love with them. But I've been a Orioles fan since the late 70s, early 80s, because we could early television, area television, cable, we could get the Orioles as our local team. So, and I grew up with Kyle Ripken. We have a Jedi Nets. I love that. That's one of my favorite posters is that shirt you have on. Love that shirt. I was actually looking at a metal design today on a website for that today. Cool. Welcome to the show, Nats, man. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. Appreciate it. Sorry about Skynet had me down.
No, I didn't know if you're, because that last text, I was like, maybe he's going to watch the game. I didn't know with the game. Like I was saying to the guys before, this is my flagship show now. This is my show. I think if you know my channel, this is the show you think of. So come hell or if I don't have this show come on, something's wrong with me. Send a wellness check. Monday night working second shift. I moved it to Monday when I was off before for a holiday or whatever. but I got to work tomorrow, second shift, so it just doesn't work for me.
Can't keep the working man down.
Yeah, and I mean, I got to make that money, son. I
This is
didn't
it.
do yesterday. I like to do the Saturday show too, because that way uh, I could just get some things off my chest if I want to. I really like showing stuff that I have and why I have it. Why I think it's a perspective that a lot of us miss on when we're on our channels is, okay, I have this card. Why do I have this card? Why do you, so why, I know you, I know why you have Durham, right? I know why you PC Durham, but, I think a lot of people do too, but, you know, it's because you told. I don't think everybody tells those stories on their channels enough. They
Yeah,
want to show
that's
the
sad.
big card that they sold and they bought. Where to me, the big cards to me are not the ones that are closest to my heart. What do we? I mean, are you the same way with that, or I
Yes,
mean,
very much so.
right?
Very
I,
much so.
Me and Bobbles talked the other day for about 2 hours.
He
I
can
don't
get
even
you
know.
going.
Yeah, well, I called him about it was something that was brought up, and then it was brought up to me again. It's not something that really doesn't need to be. I was curious about something. The 16-year-old girl, high school girl, was wanting to know what the rumor was. But we got on to, like, he was trying to figure out, what was the big card that got him started in doing this, right? Into collecting. And I kind of told him, with all of us being about the same age, when we collected, it wasn't about the big card. It was just about cards, period. It was about, man,
The moment.
yeah. And we really didn't see the cards until maybe the first box. You saw a picture of the card on the box at the store, and you just couldn't wait to open that first pack to see what the inserts looked like and the designs. And then you wanted the players off your team and all the, for me, I wanted all the stars. It didn't matter what team they played for.
Well, you said mine was and I've shared this on my channel when I was active on my channel, and it was, and I'm probably sure you're aware of it. Mine was getting a pack of cards with my dad because I
Right.
behaved,
Yeah.
and we pulled Don Mattingly's Topps rookie card,
Yeah.
and I still have it back here. I don't have it graded. I've got it back here on my shelf.
Well,
That's
to be honest, for me, I the rookie card wasn't even a main card, because a lot of times when I'm a little kid, I only knew the players that were already playing in the league, right? So, I after Magley played that one year, then I wanted that 84 card, right? So I can't even remember when I got that. I know I pulled it, but when did I pull? I couldn't tell you.
I think our dads are similar. They're like baseball knowledge nuts,
Right. That's the
and
way
say
my
that
dad.
lovingly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get something in the future with that. I like to talk to you about and bounce it off of you later, maybe, get your 2 cents on it. But okay, the Eagles just kicked a field goal, 27-20. I picked 27-17 Eagles, so I'm a little off, but it's 27-21.
My wife, my wife Emily picks every year. She doesn't like football. She does the only football game she'll watch is the Super Bowl, and she half-heartedly watches it. So
Right.
she's in there watching it now. Well, what her thing is, her claim to fame, she has picked. She only missed last year. She has picked correctly for 10 years the correct Super Bowl winner, and you know how she does it?
What's that?
By uniform.
Oh, yeah.
How nice if she likes their uniform or not. And she goes, I like the teal one. I like the teal ones. I said, the teal ones? I said, what are you talking about? And she's
Oh, God.
like, what's on the helmet? And she said, oh, it's the Eagle. I said, yeah, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. It's green. For some reason, I thought Jaguars got in when she was saying teal.
Yeah, man,
Hey, Don.
I just I don't really care anything about this game tonight. To me, Rihanna won the game already. I was in here dancing, like nobody was watching a halftime show, and I'm not afraid to say it. I should have videotaped that and let everybody have 15
Was
minutes.
the special guest? Was the special guest her being pregnant?
I guess I didn't know she was pregnant, and
Yeah.
I was like, but it don't matter to me. Her music, believe it or not, I hung out in clubs a lot. Uh, yeah, and raising some cane. I was a weekend warrior, kind of. I could still be one even at 51, but I just love Rihanna. To me, she's kind of what's her face that passed away in the car. I mean, car in a plane accident. She was like 19, would have been. So I just kind of Rihanna's. I like her. I like her more than I do Beyonce. To be truthful about that, but I know that's sacrilege. But but yeah, I think a lot of people watch tonight just because it's the social thing.
A lot of parties. I know that was a big. Back when I worked the road, the Super Bowl was bigger than New Year's Eve.
Yeah, well, Monday was kicked around as not having either Martin Luther King Day or President's Day, but have tomorrow as the holiday and have it because it's the day. It's the most called out day of the year. So it's, just to go ahead and make that the holiday. You can call it whatever you want. MLK Day, observance, President's Day, whatever. You just have it tomorrow, but never worked out.
And hopefully there'll be people drinking responsibly tonight.
Yeah. What I really like though is there's enough fans to carry on as if it's a home game for both teams. When teams score or something good happens, you hear because so many years in the past, and it still is. We were talking about it at work. A lot of the people that are up in the stands are people that work for the companies that are doing the subways and the clients of the NFL, and fans don't even get to go to the game. But it seems like there's a lot of fans there, as in people that want to be there. But they cannot. This field is terrible. They've been slipping on it all night since opening kickoff, and they just showed the kicker for Eagles fall down.
Yeah, didn't the Eagles quarterback? I think they said he changed his cleats. I think to longer cleats.
Yeah, it said quite a few of the Eagles. They got a stack of cleats over there on the sideline for them. They said none of the Chiefs have changed, but they're all. I mean, it's like they're playing on glass.
I wonder how many people panicked on card stock when Mahomes went down.
And that was not even like the guy didn't twist his leg, didn't do anything. He just tackled him, and I was like, "Ooh, that!" You could tell he took a shot, and that was as in needle, and before the game for pain, because once you pop it like that, all of a sudden you feel it again, and they probably gave him another one at halftime.
I just read Don's. I just saw what Don put on here.
Watching the game and these two legends. Yeah, it's Steven. Before you got on, he goes, "I respect the consistency going live right now, brother." I want to do me, man. And I was kind of hoping the game would be fourth quarter-ish by now. I knew the halftime was going to be longer. It's all that's going to be longer. But
I still like last year's halftime show better though.
I don't think I even watched last year's game.
It's off the hook. You got Snoop and Drake.
Yeah, I think I was actually working last year.
I think you may have been. Because this is late to have the Super Bowl, isn't it? Just off the top of my head, I was thinking about this. It was like, for some reason, I didn't think it was this late in the
day. Year?
In the day, yeah.
Oh, in the day? Oh, this is when they like to have it. So it's 3-4 o'clock West Coast. It's not too late for the East Coast. A couple of years they had it later than this, and it really sucked for East Coast. But
it'd be going off like at midnight.
Yeah, why do that when it's a Sunday? You can have it where it's perfect for the whole The crowd attendance in here is like a Pirates game. You know what? Speaking of that, they were talking about that in MLB this year. Like last few weeks, they were talking to some of the Marlins players, some of the Braves players, and how hard it is to play home games when it's only a few thousand people in the stands, and you got a long year, and it's hard enough to get up for all those games, and you hit a foul ball and you can hear the ball bouncing off the seats.
That's why Charlotte will not have an MLB team anytime soon.
You don't think so?
No, they can barely support the Hornets, and they had to use North and South Carolina to get the Panthers. And the rumor is that the owner wants to move the stadium out of Charlotte.
Well, I know. I really wish they would take the teams out of Florida. I know that the South is starving for baseball.
Nashville would be great.
And Nashville, I think Birmingham. Birmingham supports everything they put there. They supported a whole USFL football season last year. I mean, yeah, they were there for the Birmingham games, but they were smart and played 2 or 3 games at one time and made sure Birmingham was always being played.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I think the Myrtle Beach area would be great. I know in Carolina, after moving here and how much baseball's already here, it's kind of like the same reason why the Minnesota North Stars attendance dropped so bad and they moved to Dallas, right? So I talked to people from that area and they said, well, the prices for tickets went up so bad so fast that why would I pay for that when I got 1,000 other hockey that I can watch and enjoy and watch the North Stars on TV when I want to?
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper.
I can go to a juniors, I can go to minor league. And they said there was so much hockey, college hockey, and it's played at a higher standard that it was not you would rather go to a North Star, but why pay that? When I said that, I thought that was pretty telling right there.
Well, you could even say that if you were in your hometown in any of the major outlets and tickets being high, you could say, well, all I got to do is get the package on cable or satellite and then get that router system where it changes your IP address so you're out of market and you get the game.
Right.
That's a lot cheaper than going to the ball game. It's not the same experience.
And so the NHL prices are kind of, I tell you what, though, speaking of NHL prices, I look to go to see the Caps coming to Raleigh, right? Well, that's the outdoor game. They're playing at NC State Football Stadium.
Wow.
The cheapest ticket is $300. Me and a couple of guys at work, we were talking, and I was like, man, if it was $100, I'd go. But
that's crazy.
The nostalgia of outdoor hockey is died. It's no longer nostalgic. They had it once a year on New Year's Day. It was kind of good, played in a big stadium. But now they do it 3 or 4 times a year. Who cares? It's at Raleigh. It's in NC State Football Stadium. It's not like it's in.
And their arena is so nice.
Right.
That why would you go play out on the football field?
And people that are nostalgic hockey fans don't understand why they're playing outside because hockey was never played outside. The reason they called their arenas barns because that's where hockey started. It was inside barns. Yeah.
Yes, we are. Yes.
Yeah, Carlos. Yeah. Why would you? I don't understand it. It was kind of when I saw, I didn't know they were playing out there, and when I saw,
I was like,
"Ooh, that would be kind of cool." And then I saw the cheapest price. They have standing room student tickets, right, in one of the end zones on the field. It's like $270, $275. And this is
State Stadium sucks.
And it's not even, well, they just spent a lot of money redoing it. And
I needed to.
Right. And so this isn't like through a secondary. This was through NHL tickets. So I went through the secondary market, and I think it's sold out in quotes. So that's the prices.
Did you get that email I sent you? Reference the Caps Club where they go around to the different
Yes.
games. You don't have to ride. Yeah, you don't have to ride with them. You can meet them there.
Oh, okay.
Like if you, yeah. So
yeah, that. But you know, it kind of tripped me out when I saw that in the pricing for it because it didn't make much sense to have a hockey game on a college football. You know that Michigan State played on Michigan's football field. You're on the Big Blue, 100,000 seats. You know, that place, they said, you know, when a goal was scored, it can hear it 2 states over. That's how loud that place got. But see, that's hockey there. But that area is so big. Thanks, Don. Hey, I didn't win, Don. I appreciate you though. We'll get you in next year. You got your 3rd year coming up, so you'll be part of the Misfits clan of next year. I can tell you that.
He's in. Yeah,
he's in. I can tell you. I was a little upset. Not upset, but I was surprised that Carlos didn't get in. I thought he would have had enough votes too. But only
what were the results? I hadn't even seen the results.
They're on his website. Not my fault. They're on his website. I did get more votes, quite a few more votes this year. I won't that far on the outside. But what's going to happen is, and I don't really care. I win because people like Don voted me in, people that I love and care about outside of doing these shows, right? Like I love when Don, we haven't talked in a while. We probably need to catch up a little bit, but you know, we talk about each other's families. We really care about how each other's doing, other than what card you have this week. And I have made quite a few friends like that in this community, and you know, so when I talk about that, I feel like that's a win for me already. But I think like next year, the group that's coming up next year, if they all stay doing videos, when I started looking at, because I wanted to see some of the people that I could vote for, and I felt like I started looking to see how many people are on the cusp of 3 years. That's going to be a powerhouse, and rightfully so. I don't have any issue. If I lose out to Don and Victor and some of these other guys, I'm okay with that.
I was kind of disappointed. Now you correct me if I'm wrong, because I was in the hospital and heavily medicated. When a good ride it was. That on this year they did not do. You could actually, you're like what we do. We could get our own separate nomination last year, and you could get one for your own channel.
Right.
So you would have been nominated twice. I don't think he did that this year, did he? I don't remember hearing it.
And I didn't know before because I almost now want, not because of that, but I wish we were a separate channel for this. Because this is what all you're doing right now. But that's okay. If I get it, I'll just give you.
This would be but I mean, somebody like God, going horrible. What's their names? That's got all the different channels under their umbrella. Bench Clear Media.
Mm-hmm.
So Bench Clear Media they could be racking their folks could be racking stuff up under Bench Clear.
Yeah, Wade Banks, that you can highlight that one. See TJ Mack and Wade Boggs. I was looking, I can't think of all of them. I bet you.
Yeah, Wade Boggs, man, awesome.
Yeah, that guy, him and Victor, what they put into the community. How do you get mad if those two guys first ballot, and the rules are the rules? They get in. I mean, you know, I feel like, you know, that's the way it is. And to me, I'm sure Carlos, we all kind of feel like it's a tongue-in-cheek thing too, a little bit.
Yes.
You know, for me, the more I've watched, the more I look at it, to me, it's more of getting some of the guys that was here before us that laid the groundwork
Took care of it.
for us. And like, I'm not a big watcher of Purple GT or whatever, but I was a little. I wish I would have voted for him, right? Some of these guys that are really laid the way for us. And I kind of agree with some of the people after the fact. I know we're talking about something that really is superficial, but to recognize the people who was before us, like even if they don't make videos anymore, still to acknowledge that they did before we started, right? I mean, that's kind of like what the Hall of Fame is. It's football, baseball, basketball players that don't play anymore. So if you don't make a video, that criteria to me, if somebody uses that as a criteria, and I really didn't think of that. I forget who I was watching said that, and I was like, and it might even have been Mike Moynihan. I was like, that makes sense. Because there's some guys that I've been brought to my attention before me and listening to the stories. And I like to go on and I'm like, I really have been really enjoying going on Amish Dave and Broncos Steve, right? On Tuesday night and hearing and asking questions about how it used to be, the stories. And listen, they've been bringing on older guys because the nostalgia of the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. It's been really great listening to some of that stuff. And I don't talk a lot. I don't ask a lot of questions. I just like to listen. And
that's where you get the most info, just listening.
Right. A couple of those guys came in and chatting that they're friends with, and it's just fun to watch. Carlos is one of them. Carlos, if you're still here, how many years have you been doing this? If you don't mind, if you're still in here, I know you pop in and out, might be getting a drink. Putting together your Brent Baker collection and just let us see your hands. Forever. Okay. Yeah. So, but the guys like next year, the ones that are eligible next year are just great channels, great people. It'd even be hard to make fun of them.
Yeah.
Other than Don.
Cannot do that, Don. I will not do that, Don. I'll be good. I'll be good cop.
Oh man.
Did you get? I know I jumped on here late, but did you get any pickups this week?
Let's see. I haven't really. I found I'm either gonna cuss my supervisor or hug him. So he told me about this place over right outside of High Point. I forget the name. It starts with an A. Something A, and then it was an antique. The name of the little area. It's part of High Point, but it's a little part of High Point.
Advance or
something like that. I can't remember. I don't even know.
High Point goes into 4 counties. It's huge. So yeah.
Right. And then so I went there and went to this antique store. And on the outside of the antique store, it says Star Wars store. So I walked in and I've been because I've been looking for old baseball games. And I kicked myself because a long time ago, I found an electronic vibrating baseball game, like the old electronic football fields that used to vibrate. They have baseball. It wasn't many made, and I could have got it. And of course, it was cheap. I probably had to sell bone marrow or something to buy it now.
Better not let Bobbles hear that. You better keep this out. He's on fire.
Yeah, yes. I know. God bless him for it. But that's another person I got. Hey, you hear me, Bobbles? Go. I'm no OG, been making videos since 2013, 14, but for cards, probably 5 years and change. Yeah, that to me, I know that's not OG, but that's OG-ish, right? But so I went there and yeah. I only spent like $60, but they had a TIE fighter in there, original TIE fighter, electrical works, both the wings are still attached. Now you remember the
Really?
TIE fighters, the wings would pop off to make it simulate
And
exploding.
yep, they're so
So
hard
when
to
it was
find them
sitting
that
in
they
the
work.
thing, right? So when it was sitting in the thing, the wings were sitting a little bowed. So I didn't look very tight. So it might have been one explosion away from not working the next time, but uh, it was not a bad price for it. It should be a little bit cheaper. Chiefs just got more, just scored again. This might come down to a really good game here, folks. They So I saw that, but I did pick up. They had every line of figures still in package since all the new, like all the sequels, not the original three, but they had a lot of remakes. Like I picked up this right here because I just like the package it was in. So it's the from the original trilogy, from
Hmm.
the where the Princess Leia being held, Stormtrooper.
You know, the
Uh,
best sound from a toy, a Star Wars toy, was R2D2 when he turned his head. It do that click 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 click. That was like so soothing.
I thought you were gonna say the actual noise that R2D2 made and so because I have an Xbox 360. When you turn it on, it looks like R2D2 and it makes that OG issues. Which Paul C's been around for a while, haven't you, Paul? How long you been around? Let's see. The What was that? Oh, so they had like all the line of figures. They had a full. If you remember the people that worked the space laser, like the
Hmm.
the ones with
In
the
the Death
helmet,
Star.
the black helmet, that they had a full regular size uh, mannequin of that in full
Ooh,
attire for 300 in there.
ooh,
Uh,
that's not bad at all.
no, I looked at that, but I can't. I just don't want to
Yeah.
have any big expenditures right now. You kind of know what's going on in my real life.
Yep. Yep.
So, you
Priorities.
know, huh? Yeah, yeah. Uh, so that is just they I I don't know. Like I said, I don't know whether to hug him or smack him when I see him. It was awesome in there. I probably stood there for an hour in that one room just looking at stuff. They had
Guess what I
comics.
found?
What's that?
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, go
They
ahead.
had comic. They had Star Wars comics.
Yeah, but nothing. I'm looking for the 77s. I need a couple to
Yes.
finish my run in that.
Yep. That's one I wanted. I should have. Bobbles had the. I think the first three editions from the '70s, and he got rid of them. And I should have picked them up, and I didn't. But that's something I want to start is to
No.
get that collection back. But it's so crazy high.
Yeah, I had. As a kid, I had four of the first five comics in '77 from when I was a kid, and they came out before the movie to push the movie. Um, so that I really like those. And I've been going through my comics and boarding them up and everything, and some of my old school stuff.
I don't know if I showed you these or not. Oh,
Hey, Paul, being in a, I think we should have an honorary or something for people that watch channels as one of the people you can pick for in the Hall of Fame and do the commenting because the people that do the commenting and stuff mean just as much. Oh, the
with the record.
records, yeah, the records. I did not see those. They didn't have. They were playing a soundtrack music in there, but I got the original trilogy soundtracks from the I can't remember the composer's name. I should be shot for that, but yeah. And also, thanks to Carlos getting me back on the ComC. He goes, just go over there and check to compare prices. And I started comparing prices, and I was like, ooh, that's kind of cheap. Ooh, that's kind of cheap. So now I have a thing full of ComC order that I need to get mailed to me someday. But it's a lot of Star Wars. So the voice actor for the clones, right? So there's one voice actor for all the clones. If you see a clone in the cartoons, it's the same voice actor. Well, he has a lot of cards out there, and he's autographed for different characters because all the clones have different names. Lieutenant Wolf and Sergeant. Now the Bad Batch, he does all of the. So I picked up, but luckily they're cheap. So
he's like Pete Rose. He signs everything.
Yeah. So now I'm like, I'm trying to pick up some of that stuff just to have a run of different stuff. I'll use your testimony for my future ComC sponsorship. The system works. Yeah. Thanks, Carlos. But I was over there the other day looking at Pete Alonso stuff. And I wanted to bring this up. I wanted to bring it up a lot earlier. This hour went by kind of fast. I don't know if it's because baseball's getting the gear up again or what, but I don't know if you've been just casually looking or if you're looking to buy anything. Are cards starting to go up a little bit, like baseball cards? The trend to me looks like it's going in a upward momentum right now.
I've noticed Alonso is going up. Soto is starting to go back up.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Bichette, Jordan. There's stuff. I've got.
To me, Jordan stuff should go up because his was criminally low. I think all of them are high, but if you're going to compare apples to apples, Jordan's a beast. He's a man. And
you can find good price on wax. Speaking of him, like for the Chrome, I love that Sapphire update with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite card with him.
Yeah.
And I bought some wax. I couldn't believe it was took my offer and for that year Chrome update. And I was like Sapphire, and I was like, oh, I got to get that. Yeah, the prices. I'm noticing that, and then throw a plug out to JD. Card Hedge, that app. I'm using that.
I started the show out, giving them a shout out. You missed it. Congratulating them on their app. Go ahead.
It's great. I enjoy using. I'm using that.
So do you have Apple?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I have Android. I was half joking when I said, is yours called the card investment or whatever?
It's Card Hedge, yeah.
Yeah, but they don't have it yet on Android.
On Android yet?
Yeah, I think you said this week.
I like it better than the actual using the desktop.
Really?
I think, yeah.
I should have today. I didn't fool around the house, to look through the Star Wars stuff, but I think it's a great idea. I've used it some for baseball when I get to stuff I don't really know a lot about or just need a quick reference. Because like I said in the opening, even if I'm a collector, I kind of want to know what's going on, right? I mean, I want to buy stuff. Kind of want to know if I'm getting a good deal or not overpaying.
And but people are still, have you noticed with the autos on color on players? I mean, they don't even have to be that great of a player. And it's still, in my opinion, bringing like some premium asking prices.
Yeah. I've noticed that. And I don't know. One thing that has happened in the past week or two is gas prices coming down. But Lord, I went to the grocery store today and I know food prices haven't come down. Luckily, I'm on a diet. But still, geez. Just
crazy.
Yeah. But I was noticing that too this week. Now, some of their cards, was kind of having a war with somebody on eBay, and it was kind of stupid because I never let a couple of dollars stop me from getting a car. But now eBay is so much a fee bay, I refuse to pay their fees for them. Right? If a card is $5, I'm not going to pay $7 for your fee.
Yep.
I'm just not going to do it. And and then on top of that, you're going to want me to pay. Eagles just scored. Eagles win. Hurst better get the MVP tonight. But anyway, I refuse to pay it. And a single card should not. If it's what's your price line for not paying more than $1 for shipping? Like, what is a card?
If they're up front,
$5. When does a card need to be $5 to be shipped in a bubble mailer, opposed to $1 being shipped in a?
I stay away from PWE.
You do stay away from PWE?
Yeah, I've had very little luck.
Really?
The vast majority of times, my stuff is damaged when I get it.
Right.
So I tend to stay away from it.
Okay.
But when I'll tell you a pet peeve, and it's shipping. Talking about fees, don't say it's free shipping when you're putting that cost of the shipping in your asking price.
And that's
not
what
free shipping.
I'm pretty sure it was a David Wright. It was a finest. It looked pretty, but I was not. David Wright is not a premium player. He's outside of the Mets and David Wright's family. There's not too many of us collecting David Wrights. So you'd be surprised, because I was surprised how many people was actually collecting Gary Carter once I got into the collecting world outside of my bubble. But I'm sure there's a lot more than I think there is, but I was not going to pay the fee and what you're saying, and then you're charging me $1 to ship it, because I'm a PWE believer. I'm because I went away from eBay. I've been Sport Lots. I like ComC now because I can just throw it all into one group. Even though I don't like the whole, I got to put money on in their bank to do anything. I just kind of wish I could purchase it and hold it there and ship it all at once. But I like that type of thing where I can get it all at shipped to me at one time for one fee. I think that's better off than this $4 for a $5.
Be upfront about your shipping. That's my biggest thing. It's like I bought a Soto card that I'm going to share next week, but I asked to get it priority mail because I wanted because it was going to wasn't coming priority mail, and I wanted it priority mail, and because it's got the basics. We all know how priority mail works, and that's why I like it. And so it was a PSA 10 and a certain Soto card with a very, very low pop, which matters to me for Soto.
Yeah,
that's the only one that matters for Soto for me. If I'm going to pay and I paid well under what the average sale price is going for right now. I got a really sweet deal on it, and it's just I want the card before they change their mind, and but it's just you got to know when your limit is on what you're saying. So if I had a $5 card, to answer your question, if I had a $5 card, and how much would I pay on shipping? That would probably be no more than $2.
Yeah.
No more than $2.
I can understand if I'm buying if I start paying, double digits and you want to add $4.95, whatever it is now to bubble mail it. And then you damn well better bubble mail it.
Bubble mail it.
If I'm going to buy a graded card right there, that's going to be more than $1 shipping. Don wants to know, does ComC have a good vintage selection? I was kind of waiting for Carlos to jump in here because Carlos I know he's trying to complete a set, or at least Hall of Fame. I can't remember what you're trying to do there, Carlos, with that set of baseball, but I know it's decent. I don't think it's as deep as like PWCC or some of the other groups like that, auction houses, but it does. And the good thing about that is each one is individually pictured, high resolution. So say there's 10 of them in stock, all 10 are pictured, and you pick which, and it could be different price because each person prices their own stuff. So it's kind of different than sharp four sharp corners.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. Like they do definitely have some stuff. So yeah, there we go. So for me, I'm looking for 71, and this is going to bring up something else. We might go over an hour since we were a little late getting started. I have one more big question that we're going to solve tonight. They definitely have some stuff. Yeah, I'm working on the 71 graded, and they had a huge selection. But my problem is I want to grade it in a 7 or better for the majority of what I can afford. They didn't have a lot of 7s or more. A lot of them were below it. Then they were a little overpriced. But I do have a selection to pick from. Now, here's my question. Yeah, thank you, Carlos and Don. That was a great question. We all learned a little something, even from Carlos. So here's my question to you, Nats Man, and the 5 people watching, and the millions at home.
That will be watching.
I've been watching some rock cuts today. It just came to me too. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, here's my question. We have pre-war, we have vintage, we have modern and ultra modern, and then we have this kind of in between, right? Kind of the 70s, 80s. Some people you can tell how old somebody is when they go without hesitation. They say the 70s are vintage. To me, 70s are not vintage. I almost don't want to say late 60s are, but you kind of want to put that whole group in there. I know that some people want to call it the 80s because it's an antique. If you went to an antique store, something that was in the 80s could be labeled an antique at this point, right? But to me, it's almost like I also collect comic books. So we have a gold and silver era. We have, they also have pre-war. I feel like the golden era of baseball is what we call vintage baseball cards. Mike, even Baseball Collector, has a show for it, golden era of baseball, whatever. So the 70s, to me, man, what a great group of Hall of Famers were in the 70s and early 80s. I mean, what kind of baseball? Baseball was awesome. It's not saying it's not now and it wasn't before. Maybe I'm a little biased because I was a kid watching through kids' eyes with awe. But to me, that's the silver era. We need to come up with something in the space of that time frame, because vintage, we have a few decades. Ultra modern, we have a few or not even, a decade maybe. And then to me, 90s, 2000s is kind of modernish. But the 70s and 80s are in this little
transition period. It's a transition. Right. It's a transition of baseball to sport.
Right. And it's kind of like generations like move, Generation X, Z, whatever. As time moves on, we change the label of what group is in what, how what things happen historically, put generations in a generation. So cards, we try to do that. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, as a grouping, I talked to Brian B. Roth about this off air. Like, I'm trying to let's think of something to kind of, when we talk about that era, we know we're talking about that era. Because I don't know about you, but when somebody says vintage to me, I'm thinking of 50s and 60s cards.
Yeah, I'm thinking post-war.
Right. I'm not thinking a 1975 George Brett. To me, or a 71 set or a 72. How dare you call me vintage? I age like a fine wine. Mahomes is motoring on one leg. So it's pre-junk wax. But see, pre-junk wax. See, now I think we're redefining a little bit what junk wax era is, right? I think that moves, right? Because man, if you watched 2 weeks ago, Card Hedger podcast with our friends Omar and JD, great show. If you haven't checked it out, you should. On Retro Hoops Collectibles, they brought up 90s inserts. He brought Omar's a basketball groovy era. I'll take it. I'll take that all day long. Just let's call it something. So he brought up 90s inserts. 90s inserts were created and why they're so great and why people want to collect them and why they're so collectible. It's because there were so many card manufacturers out there. They had to differentiate themselves somewhere, right? So that was where Chrome and insert revolution, IRP,
started.
why that all started. And now why it's died is because we don't have that. We don't have competition anymore. So I just wish we would rethink that. I'm down with
I think you.
And I don't think junk wax era. I wish we could change that to where people don't think automatically it's crap.
I think we need to change also what's defined as modern and ultra modern. Not, I would say ultra modern is like.
Well, we're almost letting PSA determine
dictate.
That, right?
Yeah,
dictate to us what that is.
And we're supposed to go along with it.
Right, and I just wish we had a better definition because what do we? As we keep getting older, is the vintage section going to be 40, 50 years long? That's my thing, and I think 40s, 50s, and 60s. It's just a thought. I'm not trying to start a revolution by any means.
Imagine having this conversation at the National in a room full of folks, and have like a, how they do at the National and stuff. Some of these panels and stuff, and have an open discussion with that are there because they are the hottie.
Well, I just think most of the people that are on panels,
I'm talking about everyday guys.
There aren't too many everyday guys on those panels. Most of them are.
Well, I'm saying like a panel like type room, just open discussion. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I would love to bring that to Dr. Beckett because he's lived through and done a lot of this and was in on the labeling on these different eras of cards, and just to see what his thought process is.
And you could have, they could even have the vendors for the slabs, whoever wants to be there, so they can hear it from the proverbial horse's mouth.
Right.
This is what we think.
Right. And I mean, because I just think we're past. We can't. It's got to be a separation in there somewhere, and we just got to figure out what it is and where it's at. It's just an easy labeling, and I'm not saying we have to have it as it's changed. It just helps in collecting. If I'm searching for certain cards, and I just put down vintage, what's going to come up? I have no idea.
I think it's an easier problem to solve than the RC, the rookie logos.
I think the rookie logo is easy to fix. It's the first card.
Well, I agree with you, but there's.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I was in a group and the whole thing with the rookie because I think Series 1 is. I got 2 jumbo boxes reserved for me at my LCS, right? So I think this rookie class, especially in Series 1, and I think they're going to have Rodriguez and Grayson Rodriguez in Series 2. So this year could be potentially like another 2018, 19 years of cards.
Oh, What's his name with the Nationals? The prospect with the Nationals. That 18-year-old kid. His card sold. His card sold for like 30,000. I think something crazy.
Well, I go into my LCS today real quick before we cut everybody loose and finish watching this crazy game going on. Chiefs driving down a score again under 2 minutes. But so I go into my LCS and I see college cards, college baseball players, right? So I'm thinking it's the Panini Prism draft, right? No, it's Panini college baseball. They have started the NIL, boys and girls. They're not even hiding it under the process of calling it draft. It is people that are not even been drafted yet that are still in college baseball and have if they have the college, almost every Division I think Panini has the rights to, right, in baseball. So they'll have their logos on it. If it's like a lower conference or one they don't have a logo for, I don't know if they're with Notre Dame, then it'll just stay blank and they'll just sign a contract with the player.
Notre Dame baseball is ACC.
Yeah, but to have their logo on your cards, you have to sign a contract with Notre Dame. They're one of the, not only do you sign, to get Notre Dame, you have to sign an NCAA contract, college, NC football college contract, a school contract, and ACC contract for them. Yeah, I just.
I knew they were still independent for football.
Well, no, they're still affiliated with the ACC because they got to play 5 games.
Yeah.
So that's how they're
quasi. Was it
loosely?
Yeah.
But they don't, and they go to a bowl. They don't share the bowl money, and they don't get bowl money from the other ACC teams. I don't know, but anyway, that's my.
This is the same group that we lost Maryland, but we got Syracuse.
I think college baseball. Like I watched some college softball today. I know some college baseball because my friends I graduated with, his son plays at Virginia State, which is a D2 Division II HBCU, and they're playing down here somewhere. They had one game during the weekend, and the weekend set at another school down here.
There's A&T, there's High Point,
Elizabeth
Johnson
City,
Smith.
They're everywhere. Colleges,
they're huge.
We got
WSSU. Colleges in North Carolina is huge.
Winston-Salem State, where the claim to fame is having the loudmouth guy from ESPN went there. You know what I'm talking about? Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, he's from down. He went to school down here. But I almost picked up a WSSU hat yesterday just to have it. It would look pretty cool. It was all red. It was a pretty nice hat. I just like picking up hats from the area I'm in. Mm-hmm. So when I go visit other areas, nobody has any clue what I'm wearing. But let's end it on that. Some food for thought. Please, if you have any ideas of what I brought up tonight, any questions, I know I was kind of all over the place tonight. Watching the football game, looks like the Chiefs are going to kick a field goal to end this game. I just want to say thanks for everybody for showing up. I know wasn't expecting a lot. I know we'll get a lot of people will watch it on later. I want to also, again, I've said it before, congratulate Card Hedger with our friends JD. We want to congratulate them with over there, Card Hedger with JD, Omar, who was Retro Hoops. I don't know River. I've never met him, but they had him on this past week talking about it. I'm really proud of it. JD has put in so much work on his own time with no money. Okay, Carlos, I'll come over and watch it.
I gotta watch that. That's gonna be good.
Yeah, so I think I just want to congratulate them, and I think this is just the beginning of where they're going. And they're not doing this to make $1 million. They're collectors that are doing this to make it easier for collectors and also flippers and everybody else that are part of the community hobby. I want to make sure it's a hobby because we're making it clear that we have many communities in the hobby. So I just want to say congratulations to them before we head out.
Yeah, well deserved.
Yes, kudos golf club, and congratulations to the Chiefs for winning the Super Bowl. So please like, share, tell a friend. Like I said at the beginning, if you have any ideas or any ways for us to get in contact with some people in the cancer organization where we can help provide something for future, I'd like to do something for our man over here. I took down a thumbs down just because you're with me now. I don't need to do it as a shout out when you're sitting right beside me. Love you, brother, and I'm glad you came on tight. And until next time, see y'all.
Deuces. Hashtag Dirty South.
That's right.